If you're thinking about refinancing, there are a couple things that you want to try and avoid. Hey guys, my name is Brett. Thanks for checking out my channel where we talk about money, what to do with it, and how to make more. In this video, we're going to talk about common refinancing mistakes. So if you are someone who's contemplating refinancing your home mortgage or maybe even a rental property, make sure that you don't fall into these common refinance mistakes. If you are refinancing, it's a pretty good time to do so. Rates are at their all-time record low, all-time meaning all-time, forever. First common refinance mistake, and probably the most common, is people who don't shop around. What I mean by shop around, get more than one mortgage quote. Talk to more than one bank or more than one mortgage loan officer. Just because you dated some guy in high school and now he's a mortgage loan officer doesn't mean that you should use him. Be sure to get quotes from at least 3 different places. Personally, I prefer, and I think you're better off if you go directly to an independent mortgage broker, meaning someone who sells mortgages for multiple banks, but you can also go straight to your bank and see if they're competitive. Whatever you do, get at least 3 quotes. You can also double check against online resources like NerdWallet or Bankrate. I'll link them down in the description. They'll give you some ideas of lenders who will lend according to your zip code. Second common refinance mistake, beware of the extra cost. It's not just about how much you save a month or what your interest rate is. There are also closing costs. What does it cost? Are there points involved? All of these things add up. Now, if it's a newer loan and you've got a long maturity left or you've got a really high balance, those numbers probably don't matter as much, but if you've been paying on this thing for 15, 20 years, you may have a 4 or 5% interest rate, and so you're looking at a 2.875 and you're saying, wow, that looks really good. But if you don't actually do the math, it may not be really good. You may have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in closing costs, and you may never break even. So make sure that you look at the additional costs other than just how much you save and what your interest rate is. Third mistake, and this kind of goes off of the other one, make sure that you calculate when your break-even point is. Don't ever refinance without calculating your break-even point. For example, if you're planning on moving in the next 12 months and you're looking and you're saying, hey, I can save $300 on my mortgage by refinancing, well, it may take you 18 months before you actually break even. So in that scenario, it would not be smart. You may have another scenario. Is $50 less a month really worth not breaking even for 56 months? Again, this is just an example that I made up, but I only know that information if I've calculated what my break-even point is. These are things you have to think about, things you have to calculate. I'll put a refinance break-even calculator down in the description just as a reference for you. I'm not affiliated with any of these. I'm just providing them as a resource to you. Another common refinance mistake is letting them pull your credit. Now, why am I holding a cat for this? You might think this is an illustration. It's not. My cat crawled into my lap while I was recording this video. But back to the point. Don't let them pull your credit before you've selected them as the person that you want to do business with. Any mortgage guy who is worth anything should be able to spend 15 minutes on the phone with you and tell you what rate you qualify for, what your payment should be, and how much you're gonna save. They don't need to pull your credit in order to do that. Now, you should have a good idea of what your credit score is. It doesn't have to be exact, but 750 versus 600. Hopefully you know the difference of where you're at. If you don't have it, you do want to get that information so you have it on hand. That's going to be one of the big determining factors for you. If your credit score is a dumpster fire, I actually have already made a video on how to increase your credit score. I'll put it right up here so you can check it out. Another common refinance mistake is don't try and borrow money from too many places all at once. Meaning, if you don't go and get a car loan if you're planning on refinancing. Don't open up 2 new credit cards if you're planning on refinancing. Each time you do open up these new lines of credit, whatever they are, that negatively impacts your credit score. And what we don't want is you to go from a 760, which is like a prime lending person, down to a 710, which is still good, but it's not the best that you can get. We don't want you to knock yourself down a tier just because you saw a $200 offer for a specific credit card company. So if you're thinking about refinancing, you think you might refinance in the next 12 months, today start preparing your credit. And one of the best ways to prepare your credit is not to borrow too much at a time. Try and keep it to 1 to 2 credit lines per year. Last and final mistake is just waiting too long to pull the trigger. Rates literally change every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. A 2.875 could be a 3.125 tomorrow. And over the course of 30 years on a $300,000 mortgage, that shift could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. When you do get on the phone and you've found the one you want, ask them what's the lowest rate they've seen in the last couple months. If you're within striking distance, pull the trigger, get it done. Good luck. If you want more in detail on the steps of actually refinancing, I've created a video. I'll put it up here. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.